Do you remember when going to the bank was an actual errand? You know, something you had to schedule in your day, wait in line, fill out all those little paper slips. It honestly feels like a lifetime ago, right? And that's because technology has completely rewired our relationship with money. So today, we're going to dive into exactly how that massive transformation happened.
I mean, the difference is just night and day. Banking then, that was all about physical branches, strict 9 to 5 hours, and waiting for a check to clear. But banking now, it's instant. It's 24/7, and it literally lives in your pocket. The bank has gone from a place you have to go to just a thing you do, anytime, anywhere.
So the big question is, how in the world did we make that monumental leap? It definitely didn't happen overnight. It was a journey, really, full of incredible innovations, one breakthrough at a time. Let's trace that path.
To really appreciate just how far we've come, we've got to go back to the beginning, back to the slow, very physical world of early 20th century banking. You can think of it as the analog era of finance.
Just think about how restrictive that was. Everything, and I mean everything, was tied to a physical building. Your money was tracked in giant, handwritten ledgers. All your transactions were cash or paper checks. And if you missed those banking hours, well, tough luck. See you tomorrow.
This whole journey really happened in a few big waves. We'll start with the first crack in that physical wall, the ATM, which showed up in the 60s. Then we'll see how the internet just blew the doors wide open in the 90s. How mobile apps put a bank in every single pocket in the 2000s. And finally, where things like AI are taking us right now.
All right, so this brings us to our first huge shift, the self-service revolution. This is the moment technology started to empower the customer directly while also making things way more efficient behind the scenes.
We're going to start the clock in the 1960s. This decade is really ground zero for the big self-service banking revolution.
And it all kicks off with this incredible machine, the ATM. Seriously, for the very first time, you could get your own cash, on your own time, without talking to a single person. It seems so basic now, but it was a profound change. It was the very first step toward banking happening outside the bank's walls.
And while we were all getting used to ATMs out on the street, an even bigger change was happening inside the banks. In the 70s and 80s, computers started replacing all those paper ledgers. This was a massive upgrade. It made everything faster, more accurate, and it basically set the stage for everything that was about to come.
Okay, now let's jump forward to the 1990s with the arrival of the internet, a technology that, let's be honest, changed pretty much everything. It took that idea of self-service and just launched it into overdrive. All of a sudden, the most common reasons you'd go to a bank, you could do them from your home computer. Checking your balance, moving money around, paying bills. Poof! No trip to the branch needed. This was a whole new level of freedom.
So who were the pioneers leading this charge? Well, it was the big players you'd expect. Banks like Bank of America, Citibank, and Wells Fargo were some of the very first to see where this was all going. They built out those early online platforms, creating what were, in reality, the first digital branches.
But as massive as the internet was, the next phase made banking even more personal, more immediate, and way more competitive. The smartphone arrived, and with it came the banking app. In these apps, they came with what felt like actual superpowers. Suddenly, you could deposit a check just by taking a picture of it. You could get an alert on your phone the second a purchase was made. You could log in with your fingerprint. It was power and convenience on a scale we'd never seen before.
But right as this was happening, a new kind of company entered the scene. They weren't traditional banks at all. They were tech companies focused on finance, what we now call fintech. And they saw a huge opportunity to build things from the ground up. And, well, they did things very differently.
And you could see the difference right away. Traditional banks were built around branches and old systems. Fintech firms, they were digital from day one. They were obsessed with making things easy to use, often with way lower fees. They didn't just challenge the technology, they challenged the entire culture of banking, forcing the old guard to adapt or get left behind.
This whole wave of innovation wasn't just about managing your bank account either. It was about how we use money itself. A brand new payments ecosystem just exploded onto the scene. You had peer-to-peer apps like Venmo, tools for small businesses like Square, and digital wallets right on our phones. And as you can see, our reliance on physical cash just started to plummet.
Which brings us to today, and a little peek at what's next. Because believe me, this story is far from over. In fact, the technology that's shaping banking right now is probably the smartest and most integrated we've ever seen. You know, artificial intelligence isn't some far-off concept anymore. It's already working hard behind the scenes at your bank. It's the engine that powers real-time fraud detection. It's the chatbot that helps you out at 2 in the morning. And it's the algorithm that can give you personalized advice based on how you spend.
And looking ahead, this trend is only going to get bigger and faster. We're moving toward a future with fully branchless banks, where we can just ask our smart speakers to pay a bill, and where we can rely on AI to help us plan our financial futures.
And that, right there, is really the heart of this entire transformation. We've gone from a world where banking was defined by a physical building to a world where it's all about the quality of the digital experience. It's a fundamental shift in what a bank even is. So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. As technology keeps pushing forward, the possibilities are pretty much endless. If your bank isn't just a vault for your money anymore, but it's a service, an experience, what experience do you want it to be? What comes next?